Should be fairly easy. There you go. How far do you want it? If you can see it on this side, you can see it.
Yep.
It's gone a fair way. Well, in the absence of having a wall or something there, I can wedge pieces of wood between the stock and the wall. I've got to stand and hold it. Okay? If I was doing a lot of them, I could make up a jig to do this, and there's all kinds of jigs you can make up for this, so I won't go into that. But if you're only going to do one or two, and the average gunsmith will only do one or two, you can do them this way. See? And you see what happens? The wood pulls away a little bit just on the one side, but it'll spring back. Okay, hold him there.
Got it.
Yeah. And what I'll do, I'll speed things up by taking the cloth off the stock. I'll be pretty careful because it's a terrific heat underneath that that cloth. It's a very, you don't touch it, it'll burn you. No. There we go, there we go. And you see, when you release that, it'll spring back. So I bent it more than you need. You see, and you can wedge these over and push them over, whatever, and then leave them for a while. Then you can check to see if you've got enough cast off. If you haven't, pull them over some more until you get it right. But as long as the man who owns the gun can shoot and kill birds with every shot, he's happy. He doesn't care if the thing ain't quite right. He doesn't care if you haven't got quite the right measurements, as long as there's some improvement in his shooting. That ain't too bad. Yeah, the finishes hold up pretty good. Hold in there a bit longer. Let's get some more cloth. Now, okay. That'll stay where it's put. That'll stay there now. It's moved back a little bit, but you got probably more cast on that's left-handed than you need. But as I say, better to have too much than too little, I guess. Okay, now that's the bending process basically. Now, when it's cold enough to handle it, have to refit the tang of the guard into the slot that was cut out for it. And you can hold these in the vices in the safe jaws or lead jaws or whatever, and just bend this part and it'll just drop straight back in where it came from. Also, you have to strip the gun down, take the wood off and make sure that no linseed oil has got under the safe thumb piece or safe button, and no linseed oil has got in around the triggers. If you don't, and some linseed oil has got in there, you're going to have a safety which is stuck on or off, can't move it because the linseed oil solidifies, and triggers that won't move and you can't fire the gun. And another thing I must point out, the better the quality of wood, the easier they are to bend. Plain wood is harder to bend. Now the worst wood to bend is American black walnut, the plain stuff. The figurey stuff down the bottom of the tree is not so bad, but American black walnut, it's a pain to bend. It won't bend easy. Now, some of the plain French or Turkish walnut, if it's very plain, some of that's just the same. It resists bending, it'll spring back on you. But the fancy walnut, it bends like a dream usually. Okay, I think it's cool enough to handle now. Yeah, you've got about 3/16 of an inch cast on. Now cast on is for left hand, cast off is for right hand. Now, you can put a bit of rag around the end of this and just try mount it. Sorry, I didn't mean to point out at you. You know, put that up and see what's happened to you.
That's okay.
Bubbled a bit underneath the. Watch out, it's a bit. Put it up and try that to see where you're looking.
Right down the barrels.
Right down the middle?
Yep.
Oh, success story, great.
Yes.
Okay. Now, years ago in the UK, I'd have some old guy come along and say, he got an old gun, and he'd say, you know, I can't hit a thing with this gun. I've had it years and years, but this just lately I can't hit a thing. And I used to say, well, I know what your problem is. Leave the gun with me and come back next week. And they, okay. And I used to bend the stock, put a bit more cast off on in it, if he was right-handed, put a bit more cast off in it. The guy would come back next week, give him the gun, take his money, and then, very often the following week the guy would come back with a brace of pheasants, you know. I've never shot so well for years. I know what the problem was. The gun didn't fit the guy. He'd had it years, he probably inherited it. And over the years, you see the guys getting on, his reactions have slowed down. You see, because a lot of people, they make themselves fit a gun. They put their head down, they put their head across to compensate for the lack of cast off or lack of drop. And when they get older, they can't move so fast. They can't manipulate their body so well. And they're missing behind the birds, because by the time they've got the head down and head across, and they're looking down the rib or down the barrels, they're behind the bird. So by giving them a bit more cast off, the gun comes up in front of their eyes quicker, and they don't miss the birds.